So for the advantages of having a remote team or having a group that works remotely, the main advantage of leading a team like this is that you aren't limited territorially in your personnel choices. And I have to admit, I totally underestimated how valuable this was before I built my office because in the early days of my company, I was able to attract some fairly elite level employees and contractors. And the reason why was because I was able to choose from the population of the world, not just within 25 miles of my office. So, I mean, that is a distinct advantage. Now, obviously, since we've done the shift to an office environment, we've had to be a lot more selective on acquiring new talent here, but we've had some fantastic results with acquiring talent locally at home. But it took a lot more time. It was a whole lot more difficult to kind of go through that process. Much easier when you're choosing from the entire world. Another major advantage is freedom. By the way, it's freedom, flexibility. I mean, when your commute is like 32 feet, you can be way more productive much earlier in the day. You can take a break in the middle of the day and have lunch with your kids, and as long as you keep that discipline routine or keep discipline in your routine, you can often get more done in less time as a remote team member. In addition, if your team is entirely virtual, you also have a significant cost saving. So this is the main reason why I kept our company virtual for so long. I mean, our overhead was just significantly lower than a lot of our major competitors. So as a result, our customers got more value from hiring our team members versus hiring one of our competitors. Now the disadvantages though are there as well. So remote teams, they're not necessarily an entire, a panacea where everything is rosy. There are, some distinct challenges, and these challenges can actually be costly. For instance, remote team members are isolated from the company culture. And this is especially challenging when some of your team members are working in the office and others are remote. That's one of the things that we're starting to see now during the COVID-19 crisis, is that some of the folks they're needed at the office, whereas others are working from home. And the remote team members can sometimes be kind of left out of the loop, or they may begin to feel like they're not a significant part of the team. So that's something to kind of look out for as the leader. The biggest challenge that I saw, though, from over 10 years of being a virtual company is that the, the success stories that we were experiencing weren't really being shared within the group. And in fact, one of the things that we did was we started devoting about 10 minutes of our weekly meeting time just to share customer success stories from the previous week, just because we knew how important it was, how vital it was. Another major drawback of a remote team, by the way, is miscommunication. So in the office, I mean, there's miscommunication in every office, but if you're in an office environment, new opportunities or word of changes spread pretty quickly through in an office environment. In a remote team, though, there's a much higher chance that team members will not be informed, or they won't inform each other of progress that's made on projects. There's also a much higher chance that team members are going to be duplicating effort or creating challenges for one another. So all of those things are kind of inherent in the remote model. And so some of the things that we're going to cover in this session are going to be things that you can do to kind of mitigate some of those weaknesses or some of those challenges, and make it to where you're capitalizing on the strengths while minimizing the weakness of the remote team. One final thing, though, that is really critical to as far as negatives of a remote team, and this is really the reason why I finally moved my team to an office environment years ago, is collaboration. It doesn't really matter how many great minds that you have on your team if you can't get your team to share ideas regularly. And that was really one of the things that we were missing. We had some of the most intelligent people and some of the most successful people in the world on our staff, but since most everybody was working from their home and traveling, we got to speak to each other maybe 10 or 15 minutes a week all together, and as a result, the collaboration was kind of lacking. And so that's one of the reasons why I kind of created a more of an office environment here at the Leaders Institute.